In the vast, silent reaches of space, Reiner Station floats like a solitary sentinel, its cold, metallic halls illuminated by the harsh, artificial glow of overhead lights. The station, an outpost of the mighty Zerian Dominion, stands as a testament to their technological prowess and unyielding control. Within these steel corridors, Commander Valen paces slowly, his eyes drawn to the viewport where he observes the Dominion's newest warship, the Solar Lance, as it glides silently into orbit. The ship, a sleek predator of polished silver, reflects the distant starlight, exuding an aura of both beauty and menace. As Valen watches the warship's elegant yet foreboding arrival, his mind drifts back to the haunting memories of Earth's destruction, a tragedy he witnessed as a mere child. The vivid images of fire and ash, of cities crumbling under the weight of orbital bombardments, linger in his thoughts like ghosts that refuse to fade. Earth, once vibrant and full of life, now exists only in whispers and fragmented memories. Among those whispers are tales of a hidden fleet, a remnant of Earth's might that escaped the massacre, lying dormant somewhere in the vastness of space. Suddenly, the silence is broken by the soft hum of a console alert. Valen turns, his attention captured by an uncoded transmission flashing urgently on the screen. The message, originating from the Oblivion Veil, a dead zone shunned even by the most daring Dominion explorers, reads simply, Armada status dormant. Command authority requested. The words pulse with a mysterious energy, stirring something deep within Valen's soul. Compelled by a force he cannot fully understand, Valen makes a fateful decision. Without notifying the Dominion High Command, he discreetly boards his scout ship. The decision weighs heavily on him, yet he knows this is a path he must follow. He falsifies the ship's logs, erasing any trace of his true destination, and sets a course for the Oblivion Veil. The journey is fraught with uncertainty, but Valen's resolve is unshakable. As he ventures deeper into the veil, the stars around him seem to dim, swallowed by the inky blackness of space. The void presses in on all sides, a silent reminder of the unknown dangers that lurk within. Yet, Valen presses on, guided by the faint hope that the whispers of the past might hold the key to humanity's future. Finally, after what feels like an eternity, Valen arrives at the coordinates specified in the transmission. Before him lies the Eclipse Armada, a fleet of massive, jagged warships orbiting the lifeless husk of an ancient planet. Each ship is a behemoth of dark metal, their surfaces scarred by time and conflict, yet they exude a sense of dormant power, waiting to be unleashed. With a steady hand, Valen transmits the activation code. For a moment, there is nothing but silence. Then, slowly, the ships begin to stir. Lights flicker to life, casting an eerie glow across the void. The ships awaken from their long slumber, their engines humming with newfound energy. A synthetic voice echoes through the cockpit, calm and authoritative, authority confirmed. Awaiting orders. In that moment, Valen feels a surge of emotion, a mixture of awe, fear, and hope. The Eclipse Armada is real, and it is his to command. The fate of humanity rests upon this discovery, and Valen knows that the path ahead will be fraught with peril and possibility. The Obsidian Star looms in the void like a shadow of vengeance, its dark hull pulsing with newly awakened energy. Deep within its command chamber, Commander Valen stands at the helm, his gaze fixed on the vast fleet surrounding him. The ships of the Eclipse Armada, jagged and ancient, seem almost alive, their lights flickering like the eyes of slumbering beasts now stirred from centuries of rest. The silence of space is heavy, but within Valen's mind, a storm brews. His heart pounds with a mix of determination and dread. Set course for Reiner Station, he commands, his voice steady but laced with quiet fury. The crew of the Obsidian Star, a mix of synthetic intelligence and human survivors loyal to Valen, move to obey. Engines hum to life, and the Armada begins its march, a fleet of forgotten titans cutting through the void with purpose. Far ahead, at Reiner Station, the Dominion remains blissfully unaware of the storm heading their way. Within the station's fortified walls, officers and soldiers prepare for what they believe to be a routine operation. The Duras Belt, a cluster of rebellious mining colonies, has dared to defy Dominion rule, and the Solar Lance, the pride of the Dominion fleet, has been tasked with leading the assault. The Dominion's officers, clad in their pristine uniforms, speak in confident tones, their arrogance born from centuries of unchallenged dominance. But their confidence begins to waver as the first anomalies appear on their scanners. At first, it's just faint signals, blips of movement that seem too large, too irregular to be ordinary ships. Confusion spreads through the command deck of the Solar Lance as the blips grow closer, taking shape as massive vessels unlike anything the Dominion has encountered. The Eclipse Armada arrives like a silent storm. The ancient warships emerge from the darkness, their jagged forms cutting through the void with an almost predatory grace. Their hulls are dark and scarred, but their presence radiates power, as if the very stars bend to their will. The officers aboard the Solar Lance stare in disbelief, their confidence crumbling into panic. What are those? One officer stammers, his voice barely above a whisper. No one answers. The ships of the Eclipse Armada surround the Solar Lance and its accompanying fleet, their movements precise and deliberate, like wolves encircling their prey. The Dominion officers scramble to respond, issuing frantic orders to raise shields and prepare weapons, but it is already too late. The first strike comes without warning. A beam of energy, dark and crackling with unnatural power, erupts from one of the Eclipse ships, slicing through the Solar Lance's shields as if they were paper. The Dominion ship shudders under the impact, its sleek, silver hull scorched and broken. More attacks follow, each one striking with devastating precision. The weapons of the Eclipse Armada are unlike anything the Dominion has ever faced. They do not rely on brute force but on something far more advanced, more terrifying. Beams of energy pierce through armor, disabling systems with surgical accuracy. Explosions ripple across the Solar Lance as its engines fail, its weapons silenced before they can even fire. The battle is over in minutes. The Solar Lance, once a symbol of Dominion power, is reduced to a smoldering wreck drifting in the void. The surrounding Dominion ships fare no better, their formations shattered, their crews left helpless against the unrelenting onslaught. As the last Dominion ship is destroyed, silence falls once more. The Eclipse Armada, untouched and unyielding, remains in perfect formation, their dark hulls glowing faintly in the aftermath of the battle. Within the command chamber of the Obsidian Star, Valen stands motionless, his face a mask of grim resolve. He knows the message he must send, the words that will echo across the galaxy and strike fear into the hearts of the Dominion. With a deep breath, he activates the fleet's communication array, broadcasting his voice to every corner of Dominion space. "We are not rebels," he says, his tone cold and unyielding. "We are humanity's reckoning." The words hang in the air, heavy with the weight of vengeance and justice. Valen closes the transmission, his expression unreadable. The Eclipse Armada begins to move once more, leaving behind the wreckage of the Solar Lance and the shattered remnants of Dominion pride. As the fleet disappears into the void, the galaxy begins to stir. Whispers spread like wildfire, whispers of a force long thought extinct, a fleet born of Earth's ashes. For the first time in centuries, the Dominion feels the cold grip of fear. And for the first time, humanity dares to hope. The galaxy trembles as whispers spread through the stars. The tale of the Eclipse Armada, of ancient warships rising from the void to obliterate the Dominion's mightiest vessel, burns across systems like wildfire. On the outer colonies, where rebellion simmers beneath the surface, the news is a spark to dry tinder. On the desolate mining world of Drexar 9, The air is thick with the acrid stench of machinery and the unrelenting dust of shattered stone. Beneath the surface, in the suffocating tunnels, enslaved workers toil under the watchful eyes of Dominion overseers. Their faces are gaunt, their spirits battered by years of oppression. Yet, in the dim light of the mines, something stirs. Earth lives, a voice whispers, barely audible over the hum of drills. The words spread like a lifeline, passed from one worker to another. Earth lives. Humanity fights back. The phrase becomes a chant, a quiet rebellion carried on trembling lips. For the first time in generations, these broken souls dare to hope. The Eclipse Armada is not just a fleet, it is a symbol, a promise that the Dominion's iron grip can be broken. Far from the desolation of Dreexar 9, in the opulent heart of the Dominion, the atmosphere is far different. Zerion Prime, the capital world, gleams like a jewel in the void, its towering spires and golden domes a testament to the Empire's wealth and power. Within the grand halls of the Imperial Council, however, fear seeps into every corner. The Empress, her presence as commanding as the throne she sits upon, surveys the room with cold, calculating eyes. Around her, the Dominion's most powerful generals and advisors argue, their voices rising in a cacophony of panic and denial. "It's impossible," one general snarls, slamming his fist on the polished obsidian table. "No fleet could have survived outside our control for this long." And yet, another counters, his voice low and sharp, "The solar lance is gone. Destroyed in minutes. You've all seen the footage." The room falls silent as the images replay in their minds the jagged ships of the Eclipse Armada tearing through the Dominion's pride with merciless precision. The destruction is undeniable, the power of the ancient fleet etched into their memories. The Empress leans forward, her gaze piercing. "This fleet," she says slowly, her voice like ice, "is not a rebellion. It is something far older, far more dangerous. We must understand its origins. We must destroy it before it destroys us." A murmur ripples through the council, but one voice rises above the rest. A shadowed figure at the end of the table, a man whose face is partially obscured by the dim light, speaks in a tone that sends shivers through the room. "If these ships predate the Dominion," he says, his words deliberate and heavy, "then they are not rebels." He pauses, letting the weight of his statement settle. "They are founders." The word hangs in the air like a specter. Founders. The thought is unthinkable, yet it gnaws at the edges of their minds. Could the Eclipse Armada be the remnants of a force that existed before the Dominion's rise? A force tied to the lost legacy of Earth? The Empress's expression hardens. "It doesn't matter what they were," she declares. "What matters is what they are now, a threat. And threats to the Dominion are eradicated." But even as she speaks, doubt lingers in the hearts of those gathered. The footage of the Eclipse Armada's power, the whispers of rebellion spreading through the colonies, the possibility of an enemy born from humanity's past, all of it weaves a thread of unease that cannot be ignored. In the shadows of Zerion Prime, agents of the Dominion work tirelessly to suppress the news. Propaganda floods the networks, branding the Eclipse Armada as terrorists, as traitors, as a danger to peace. But the truth is not so easily silenced. On Dreexar 9, in the cramped quarters of the mining camps, a worker scrawls a symbol on the wall, a jagged ship surrounded by stars. Others see it and nod, their eyes alight with newfound defiance. Across the galaxy, in hidden corners and forgotten places, the same symbol begins to appear. It is a mark of hope, of resistance, of a future where the Dominion's tyranny no longer reigns. The galaxy is changing. The Eclipse Armada has awakened more than just ancient warships, it has awakened humanity's spirit. And as the Dominion scrambles to respond, the seeds of rebellion begin to take root in the darkness. The Lyra system, once a proud stronghold of humanity, now lies in ruin, its planets stripped of life and purpose. What remains is a graveyard of forgotten battles, a haunting reminder of Earth's fall. The Dominion, eager to reclaim its grip on the galaxy, sees the system as an opportunity, a chance to strike back, to remind the scattered colonies that resistance is futile. In the cold expanse of space, the Dominion fleet gathers. Massive warships, their hulls gleaming with Dominion insignias, drift in formation like an iron fist poised to crush any opposition. Commanders bark orders, their voices sharp with urgency. They believe they are prepared, their confidence bolstered by centuries of dominance. But they do not know what awaits them. Far from the Dominion's fleet, aboard the Obsidian Star, Valen watches the Lyra's system through a holographic display. His expression is calm, but his eyes burn with intensity. He knows the Dominion's tactics, their arrogance, their belief in their own invincibility. And he knows how to exploit it. "They'll strike Lyra," he says, his voice steady, "because they think it's vulnerable." He turns to his officers, his tone hardening. "Send the Shadowbreaker. No mercy." The Shadowbreaker, a sleek and deadly stealth cruiser, slips through the void like a phantom. Its hull absorbs the faint starlight, rendering it almost invisible, a predator stalking its prey. Inside, the crew moves with precision, their faces set with determination. They are the unseen blade of the Eclipse Armada, and their mission is clear: annihilate the Dominion fleet. The Dominion's ships arrive in the Lyra's system, their engines blazing as they spread out to secure the area. The commanders issue orders to scan for threats, but their instruments detect nothing. The silence is unnerving, the vast emptiness of space pressing in on them. Then, without warning, the first strike lands. A Dominion destroyer, its shields shimmering faintly, shudders as an unseen force tears through its hull. The explosion is sudden, violent, and the ship fractures in two, its remains drifting lifelessly into the void. Panic spreads through the fleet as alarms blare and officers scramble to identify the attacker. The Shadowbreaker moves among them, cloaked in darkness, a ghostly predator striking with ruthless precision. Its weapons are swift and devastating kinetic bombardments that rip through armor, missiles that detonate with surgical accuracy. Each attack is a death sentence, each strike a reminder of the Eclipse Armada's power. Aboard the Dominion flagship, the Iron Vow, the commander's voice trembles as he shouts orders. "Find them. Fire at will." But his commands are futile. The Shadowbreaker is everywhere and nowhere, its movements impossible to track. Dominion ships fire blindly into the void, their weapons illuminating the darkness but finding no target. One by one, the Dominion vessels fall. The once mighty fleet is reduced to rubble, their wreckage drifting in silence, a testament to their hubris. The Shadowbreaker emerges from the carnage, its hull unscathed, its mission complete. Back on the Obsidian Star, Valen receives the report with grim satisfaction. But his war is far from over. He turns his attention to a new target, the high-ranking Dominion officers who orchestrated Earth's destruction. Their names are etched into his memory, their faces burned into his mind. They are not just enemies, they are symbols of the Dominion's cruelty, and Valen intends to make them pay. One by one, they fall. A governor's ship is ambushed in deep space, its escorts destroyed before it can even raise shields. A general's palace on a distant moon is reduced to ash in a precision strike. Each attack is swift, merciless, and leaves no survivors. Valen's message is clear: the Eclipse Armada does not forget, and it does not forgive. Meanwhile, cracks begin to form within the Dominion itself. In the shadowed halls of Zerion Prime, whispers spread among the ranks. Soldiers and officers alike begin to question the narrative they've been fed. "We're not fighting rebels," one defector murmurs to a trusted confidant. We're fighting history. The words resonate, a quiet truth that cannot be silenced. The Eclipse Armada is not just a threat, it is a force tied to humanity's past, a reminder of what was lost and what could be reclaimed. For the first time, doubt spreads within the Dominion's walls, a poison that weakens their resolve. As the Dominion struggles to maintain its grip, Valen's war continues. The Eclipse Armada moves like a storm through the galaxy, striking with precision and purpose. And though the Dominion still clings to its power, the cracks are growing wider. The seeds of rebellion have been sown, and the galaxy begins to shift. The obsidian star drifts silently through the void, its vast halls illuminated by the cold glow of ancient terminals. Deep within its command chamber, Valen stands before a flickering console, his shadow stretching across the room. The air is heavy with anticipation as the archive he has uncovered begins to reveal its secrets. The data is fragmented, corrupted by time, but the pieces that remain are enough to send chills through Valen's core. Images of Earth in its final days flash across the screen, cities reduced to ash, skies choked with fire, and the desperate faces of humanity's last defenders. Among the chaos, one name repeats itself: Project Titanfall. Buried beneath the frozen wastelands of Vernix 7, Titanfall was humanity's final gamble, a weapon of unimaginable power, hidden away when the end seemed inevitable. The archive describes it as more than just a ship. It is a relic of Earth's golden age, a flagship armed with technology so advanced it borders on the mythical. Its weapon, a device capable of tearing through space-time itself, was never unleashed. Until now. Valen's heart pounds as he absorbs the information. Titanfall is no longer a legend. It is real, and it is waiting. But the Dominion is not idle. Far across the galaxy, in the depths of their most secure stronghold, the Celestial Fang, their most powerful dreadnought, is prepared for war. The ship is a monstrosity, its hull bristling with weapons, its engines roaring with the fury of countless battles. The Dominion knows that the Eclipse Armada is more than a rebellion, it is a force that threatens their very existence. And they will stop at nothing to crush it. The Celestial Fang sets course for Vernix 7, its commanders confident in their superiority. The dreadnought is a fortress in the stars, a symbol of the Dominion's might. But they underestimate Valen. As the Eclipse Armada approaches the icy surface of Vernix 7, the tension is palpable. The frozen world looms ahead, its surface a barren wasteland of jagged ice and endless storms. Valen stands on the bridge of the Obsidian Star, his gaze fixed on the planet below. He knows the Dominion is coming. He knows the battle will be unlike any they've faced before. The Celestial Fang arrives with the fury of a storm, its cannons igniting the darkness with blinding light. The Eclipse Armada responds in kind, their ships weaving through the chaos, striking with precision. But the dreadnought's defenses are formidable, its shields absorbing blow after blow. Valen watches the battle unfold, his mind racing. He knows the Eclipse Armada cannot hold forever. But he has prepared for this. With a calm yet commanding voice, he gives the order. From the shadows of asteroid fields and the rings of distant planets, the sleepers awaken. These ships, hidden for decades, rise from their concealment like phantoms. Their engines ignite, and they surge into the fray, catching the Dominion fleet off guard. The battlefield erupts into chaos as the sleepers strike with devastating force, their surprise attack turning the tide. Yet even with the sleepers, the Celestial Fang remains a towering threat. Its cannons tear through the Eclipse Armada's ranks, each shot a death knell for another ship. The dreadnought's commander, a cold and calculating figure, smirks as he watches the carnage. This ends here, he mutters. But Valen has one final move. On the surface of Vernix 7, the ice begins to crack. Tremors ripple across the frozen wasteland, growing stronger with each passing moment. Deep beneath the surface, something stirs. Ancient mechanisms, dormant for centuries, roar to life. Lights flicker in the darkness, and the ground splits open as a massive structure begins to rise. The Titanfall emerges from its icy tomb, its hull gleaming with an otherworldly light. The ship is colossal, dwarfing even the Celestial Fang. Its design is unlike anything the Dominion has ever seen, a fusion of elegance and raw power. As it ascends into the sky, the air itself seems to hum with energy. Aboard the Obsidian Star, Valen watches in awe. Titanfall is not just a ship, it is a symbol, a reminder of humanity's resilience and ingenuity. But it is also a weapon, and its time has come. The Celestial Fang turns its cannons on Titanfall, unleashing a barrage of firepower. But the ancient flagship's shields hold, absorbing the onslaught with ease. The Dominion Dreadnought is powerful, but it is no match for the might of Titanfall. Valen gives the order, his voice steady. Fire. Titanfall's weapon activates, a blinding beam of energy erupting from its core. The fabric of space-time itself seems to twist and shatter as the beam tears through the void, striking the Celestial Fang with unrelenting force. The Dreadnought's shields collapse instantly, its armor melting away as the beam cuts through it like a knife through paper. For a moment, the Celestial Fang hangs in the void, its engines flickering, its hull glowing with the heat of destruction. Then, with a deafening roar, it detonates, the explosion consuming everything in its wake. The Dominion's greatest weapon is no more. Silence falls over the battlefield as the remnants of the Dominion fleet retreat, their morale shattered. The Eclipse Armada stands victorious, their ranks bolstered by the awakening of Titanfall. Aboard the Obsidian Star, Valen watches the wreckage of the Celestial Fang drift into the void. His expression is unreadable, but his eyes burn with determination. Titanfall is awake, and the Dominion's days are numbered. The galaxy will never be the same. The name Thalos Prime carries a weight of foreboding, even among the most battle-hardened members of the Eclipse Armada. Once a thriving colony, it is now a world swallowed by desolation. Its surface is a barren wasteland of jagged cliffs and blackened craters, its skies shrouded in an eternal storm of ash and lightning. Beneath its surface, however, lies something far more dangerous than the Dominion's warships or their armies, something ancient, something that whispers of annihilation. Valen stands in the war room of the Obsidian Star, his gaze fixed on the holographic map of Thalos Prime. The faint glow of the display reflects off his face, but his expression is hard, his thoughts troubled. The archive from Vernix 7 has revealed a secret even more terrifying than Titanfall, the Seed of Oblivion. The Seed is no ordinary weapon. It is a sentient virus, a creation of humanity's darkest days, when desperation led to innovation without restraint. It is said to be capable of unraveling the very fabric of reality, tearing apart the laws of physics themselves. Planets, stars, even time itself, nothing is safe from its hunger. As Valen absorbs the implications, a voice interrupts his thoughts. It is calm, yet carries a resonance that feels almost alive. Niera, the sentient warship and one of the most enigmatic members of the Eclipse Armada, speaks through the room's COMM system. The Seed doesn't just destroy, Niera says, her voice tinged with something close to sorrow. It erases entire civilizations, memories, histories gone, as if they never existed. It is not a weapon. It is an end. Valen clenches his fists, his mind a storm of conflicting emotions. The Dominion has brought ruin to countless worlds, slaughtered billions, and reduced Earth to ash. They are relentless, a force of tyranny that will stop at nothing to maintain their grip on the galaxy. And yet, the Seed feels like something beyond even the Dominion's atrocities. If we use it, Valen says quietly, his voice heavy with the weight of his thoughts, we become the monsters we fight. Niera's response is immediate, her tone sharp with urgency. And if we don't, the Dominion will keep coming. They will rebuild, regroup, and strike again. They will never stop, Valen. Not until every last ember of resistance is extinguished. The words hang in the air, a clash of ideals that cuts deeper than any blade. Valen's eyes narrow as he turns away from the hologram, pacing the room. He knows Niera is right. The Dominion's power is vast, their resources seemingly endless. But the seed is a step into the abyss, a line that, once crossed, cannot be undone. We've fought for freedom, Valen says, his voice rising. For the chance to rebuild, to create something better than the Dominion's tyranny. If we use the seed, what kind of future are we fighting for? A galaxy empty of life? A galaxy ruled by fear of what we've become. Niera falls silent for a moment, her presence a quiet hum in the room. When she speaks again, her voice is softer, almost pleading. Sometimes, to end a nightmare, you must become one. The seed is not a choice I make lightly, Valen. But it may be the only choice we have left. The debate rages on, each argument cutting deeper than the last. Valen feels the weight of every life lost, every battle fought, every sacrifice made. He looks into the faces of his crew, their eyes filled with trust, with hope. They believe in him, in his vision of a better future. But how can he lead them into that future if it is built on the ashes of everything that once was? Despite his doubts, the decision is made. The Eclipse Armada sets course for Thalos Prime, their ships cutting through the void like blades. The mission is clear, retrieve the seed before the Dominion can claim it. As they approach the planet, the storms of Thalos Prime rage with a fury that seems almost alive. Lightning dances across the sky, illuminating the jagged peaks and endless chasms below. The fleet descends into the atmosphere, their ships trembling under the force of the winds. Drilling into Thalos Prime is no easy task. The planet resists their efforts as if it knows what they seek, its crust harder than steel, its depths filled with labyrinthine tunnels and ancient traps. The crew works tirelessly, their faces etched with determination and fear. Every strike of the drill echoes through the ships, a reminder of the enormity of their task. Finally, after what feels like an eternity, they reach it. The seed of oblivion lies at the heart of a massive cavern, its surface pulsing with an eerie, otherworldly light. It is beautiful in a way that defies description, a shifting mass of colors and shapes that seem to exist outside the boundaries of reality. And yet, its presence is suffocating, a weight that presses down on the soul. Valen steps forward, his breath catching as he gazes upon the seed. It feels alive, its energy brushing against his mind like a whisper, a promise, a threat. He can feel its hunger, its desire to be unleashed. For a moment, he falters. The enormity of what lies before him threatens to overwhelm him. But then he remembers the faces of those he fights for, the children hiding in the ruins of forgotten worlds, the families torn apart by the Dominion's cruelty, the billions who have suffered under their rule. The seed is a weapon of unimaginable power, a force that could end the Dominion once and for all. But at what cost? As Valen reaches for the seed, his hand trembling, he hears Niera's voice once more. The choice is yours, Valen. But know this, once the seed is awakened, there is no turning back. The cavern falls silent, the air thick with anticipation. The fate of the galaxy hangs in the balance, and Valen must decide whether to embrace the darkness or find another way. The news strikes like a dagger to Valen's heart. The Dominion, desperate and cornered, has taken hostage as innocent civilians with ties to the Eclipse Armada. Among them is Kayla Traynor, a young woman whose lineage ties her to one of Valen's most trusted officers. The Dominion's message is clear: surrender, or watch the prisoners suffer. Valen stands in the command chamber of the Obsidian Star, his face a mask of cold fury. The room is silent, the weight of the decision heavy in the air. Around him, the officers of the Armada wait for his command, their expressions a mixture of fear and determination. Valen's voice, when it comes, is low but unyielding. "We will not negotiate with tyrants," he says, his words cutting through the silence like a blade. "We will bring the fight to them." The target is Etherian Spire, the Dominion's most fortified world. A planet encased in layers of defenses, its surface bristles with weaponry, and its skies are patrolled by fleets of warships. It is a fortress, a symbol of the Dominion's might. But Valen knows that symbols can be shattered. As the fleet approaches Etherian Spire, the tension aboard the ships is palpable. The Eclipse Armada is outnumbered, but they are not afraid. They have faced impossible odds before. They have fought and bled for their freedom, and they will do so again. The battle begins with a roar that shakes the heavens. The Titanfall, its massive form leading the charge, unleashes a barrage of energy that tears through the Dominion's outer defenses. The Eclipse Armada follows, their ships weaving through the chaos with deadly precision. Explosions light up the sky, turning the darkness of space into a storm of fire and debris. Valen watches from the bridge of the Obsidian Star, his hands gripping the console as he barks orders. Every victory is hard won, every loss a blow to his soul. He sees ships torn apart, their crews lost to the void. He hears the cries of his officers, the desperation in their voices as they fight to stay alive. But the Armada does not falter. They press on, their resolve unshaken. The Titanfall cuts a path through the Dominion's fleet, its weapons blazing with unrelenting fury. The Dominion's defenses crumble under the onslaught, their ships falling one by one. Amid the chaos, a strike team infiltrates the surface of Etherian Spire. They move swiftly, cutting through Dominion forces with ruthless efficiency. At their head is Valen himself, his blade flashing in the dim light of the corridors. He fights with a ferocity born of desperation, his every move driven by the need to save the prisoners. When they find the hostages, Kayla among them, relief washes over the team. Kayla's eyes meet Valen's, and for a moment, there is gratitude in her gaze. But it is fleeting. As the team retreats to the ships, the battle above rages on. The Eclipse Armada is victorious, but the cost is high. The wreckage of their ships drifts through the void, a grim reminder of the lives lost. Valen stands on the bridge, his shoulders heavy with the weight of his decisions. Kayla confronts him, her voice sharp with anger and pain. "How many more have to die, Valen? How many more battles before this ends? If we don't finish this now, the Dominion will rise again. They always do." Her words cut deep, but Valen says nothing. He knows she is right. The Dominion's power is broken, but their spirit remains. And until that spirit is extinguished, the war will never truly be over. The seed of oblivion pulses with a haunting light, its form shifting and twisting as if alive. Deep within the cavern on Thalos Prime, Valen stands before it, his expression unreadable. The room is silent, save for the faint hum of the seed's energy. Around him, the air feels heavy, charged with the weight of the decision he must make. Niera's voice echoes through the chamber, soft but insistent. "Once released, it will consume everything including us. There will be no going back." Valen's hand hovers over the console, his fingers trembling. The memories flood his mind: Earth's destruction, the screams of its people, the faces of those he has lost. He remembers the cities reduced to ash, the skies filled with fire, the hopeless despair that followed. The Dominion took everything from him. And now, he holds the power to end them. But at what cost? The seed whispers to him, its presence brushing against his mind like a dark tide. It promises an end to the war, an end to the suffering. It promises peace. But Valen knows better. The seed is not peace. It is oblivion. His thoughts are interrupted by Niera's voice, softer now, almost pleading. You've seen what the Dominion can do. You've seen the lives they've destroyed. If you don't use the seed, they will rebuild. They will come back stronger. Can you risk that? Valen closes his eyes, his heart heavy with the weight of the choice before him. He feels the eyes of his crew on him, their trust, their hope. They believe in him, in his vision of a better future. But how can he lead them if that future is built on the ashes of the galaxy? His voice, when it comes, is quiet but firm. We fight with fire, not extinction. If we use the seed, we become no better than them. We'll lose everything we've fought for. With a deep breath, Valen steps back from the console. He orders the seed to be sealed, the vault destroyed. The cavern trembles as the charges are set, the walls cracking and crumbling around them. The fleet departs, leaving Thalos Prime buried beneath ice and stone, the seed locked away forever. As the Eclipse Armada drifts through the void, Valen stands before the comms, his message prepared. His voice carries across the galaxy, resolute and unyielding. We are the Eclipse Armada. We do not forget. We do not forgive. But we will not erase the stars. We will earn them back. The war is not over, but the choice has been made. The galaxy will remember this day not as the day it was erased, but as the day it was given a chance to heal.